Awesome. So today, thanks again for joining today's StayFi Marketing Mastery session. As always, this session is for you to learn more about how you can use StayFi effectively and use the different tools that we have to drive more incremental revenue, as well as obviously more repeat direct bookings, so you can decrease your dependence on OTAs and build up your own brand. And today's session is all going to be about SMS marketing, which I think is one of the highest ROI tools in StayFi that is also the most underutilized by our users. So I definitely wish more people would take advantage of this tool because it's very powerful and it can have a really immediate impact on both your reviews as well as your repeat bookings because it's a fantastic channel to market to guests. It's very easy to use because you don't have to compose and design emails. You can just literally send out a text and get results right away. So we're going to talk about all the different ways that you can use SMS marketing within StayFi. As always, these sessions are recorded and then published to the StayFi YouTube channel. So if you want to watch this one or any other previous session that we've done, you can just Google YouTube StayFi and you'll find all of our marketing mastery videos as well as other videos there, but all of these are in one playlist and you can go look at all the topics that we have there. So today's agenda is just going to be really going over the tool and then how you can use the different types of campaigns that we have built into StayFi. And then finally, I'll actually be going in and out of a StayFi account just because I love to always show how you actually use these tools in the product, not just some slides, right? So make it really practical. So you can go ahead and get started right away in your own account. So just so everybody knows, like what is the StayFi text marketing tool all about? So it's, why are people using it? It's one, we can help you provide information to all the guests when they log into the Wi-Fi for the first time. So that would be a welcome automation. We also have a rate and review automation, which I'll talk about. And then finally, the ability to send a text message to all of your past guests that have opted in to share marketing information. So things like promos, availability, urging them to rebook, launching a new property. Lots of examples for different types of campaigns you can send. They're going to get high open rates and high click-through rates. And that's the great thing about SMS is it gets delivered right to someone's phone. So there's very high levels of engagement, much higher engagement than emails where, open rates are typically lower, right? So we'll go over the different uses of SMS in StayFi. I think the key thing just to note about our approach to this tool is that we are not building and do not want to build a new place to communicate with guests. So all of the SMS we send are one way. So you send the message out to the group of individuals or to the person that just logged into Wi-Fi. Whenever they respond, we have what's called an autoresponder that you also set up in StayFi, so that if they ask you a question or respond with anything, you can direct them to your preferred method of communication, whether that's via text message, WhatsApp, email, phone, call, whatever you want guests to do. We want to make sure everyone's getting funneled to your preferred communication channel and that we're not anticipating or wanting you to like communicate with guests in somewhere else, right? Because that's already complicated enough. And so this is really just one-way marketing. And that's just a key thing to note. So to get started in StayFi, I'll show it here and then I'll go into the thing, is that we want to basically turn on uh, text marketing. And the first step there is to start collecting phone numbers. So by default, on the splash pages you set up in StayFi, you are going to be just collecting name and email. What we need to do is start collecting phone numbers. And the key part of that process is when we collect phone numbers, we will also collect SMS marketing opt-in. So you can start collecting phone numbers before you set up any campaigns. So you can start the process of collecting phone numbers with opt-in and then choose to message those guests later. It's also important to note that in this process, we basically have to issue you a toll-free number. So all of our text marketing comes from a toll-free number that we essentially go and get for you from Twilio, which is our backend provider. And that process takes around 2 to 6 weeks. So if you want to get started with text marketing, it's going to take about 2 to 6 weeks for your number to get approved to even start. So if this is something you're thinking about doing in the future, I would definitely recommend starting to collect phone numbers and to go through the approval process to get a toll-free number so that in the future you can start sending a campaign right away. I think the issue would be is like, let's say you want to send a campaign today. A, you need to start collecting the numbers, and B, it's going to take a little time to get the phone number to send from. And toll-free numbers essentially are like the preferred way to do text marketing, just because there's a lot more regulations around it. And it basically ensures that your texts are going to have a high rate of deliverability, much higher than if we just issued you a standard phone number. They're going to have much lower deliverability. So we do the toll-free number route, even though there's a little bit of a wait, because your text marketing is actually going to have a much higher chance of going through. So in StayFi, in your account, obviously you're going to navigate to text marketing. Then right here, you just want to toggle on collect phone numbers. Once you do this, we're going to automatically add the field to all your splash pages. So now when I go to guest experience and I go to edit my homepage, let's say, not homepage, splash page, you are going to see now we have the phone number field. They can pick the country, so we can actually text any phone number essentially in the world, and then they'll put in their phone number, and then there's going to be this extra box here that's for SMS opt-in. For legal reasons, the SMS opt-in always have to be separate, um, and as well as like we collected here, we get their opt-in. And I already see a question about what I'm going to talk about next, which is for now, we do not allow you to import phone numbers from other platforms because the SMS regulation is pretty strict. And we just do not want to open up the possibility that people upload phone numbers where they have not gotten opt-in from guests to do text marketing. If we let anyone do that and somebody did upload a list and it got a high rate of spam, we could basically get shut down by Twilio because there's a lot of people, I'm sure you've noticed, you're getting a lot of spam texts. They're really trying to crack down on spam texts. So just to protect our own application and our own users, we don't let people bring in outside phone numbers because there's no way for us to verify that those people have opted into text marketing in a compliant way. So we only allow you to text the phone numbers that are collected within StayFi, and that's just really to protect our product and to protect and make sure that everybody using StayFi can continue to do text marketing. When you go through the process of setting up your first campaign, it's going to then ask you to do the business verification and set up your autoresponder. I can't do that because this one is already set up, but essentially when I go in to set my first campaign, it's going to ask you to fill out this form. So on the business verification form, we just need your business name, contact, email, phone number, your website address, and your business address. Please make sure you fill this in accurately, because what happens is Twilio will then go check this data. And if this data is incorrect or they can't find a matching business, they will deny your toll-free number, and then you have to start the process over again. So it's just really important that you fill this information out accurately, or else it's not going to work. Then under settings, this is where you set up your autoresponder. So you can pick a name that will precede all of your text messages. So you can see here it will come from luxury vacation rentals. Then you decide here what you want to send back to guests if they do write back. So here we're just letting them know, hey, email us here. Obviously, it could be call us here, text us here, whatever you want. This is what guests will see if they do ever respond to your text message. And this whole process, again, takes 2 to 6 weeks. So really important that you fill out the business information correctly, just because we want to make sure that your number gets approved. So now we'll talk about the first campaign. And this is, I think, a fantastic campaign for everyone to use, which is the Wi-Fi welcome text. So essentially, if someone logs into the Wi-Fi and opts into text marketing, this text will get sent right away. And it's an important place where you can share valuable information. So one great thing to share in this text message is a link to your homepage. So if you look here on the right, this is the composer. We have a bunch of essentially merge fields that you can insert into the text message that will obviously fill in with dynamic content. So you can put their name, you can put the name of the property. So it could be, hey, first name, welcome to property, and then it will fill that information into the message. And then you can also link to a guidebook and or your homepage. So if you associate a guidebook with all your properties in StayFi, things like a touch stay guide, hostfully guide, you can link to there because you want guests to have access to that, or you can link to your StayFi homepage. A great example here on the bottom right. So in this homepage, for instance, they have local attractions. So that's done through a Viator partnership. They have a host co-store, which is also through a partnership or other upsells. Because if you remember, this is what guests see when they log into the Wi-Fi. But now we want to make sure they come back to this page to purchase these upsells or access your house manual. By including your homepage link in your welcome text message, you're going to ensure that all the guests, not just the booker, but everybody in the party will have this link in their SMS inbox. So they can go back to it as many times as they want. So by including the link to your homepage in your welcome text, you're going to have a much higher conversion rate on all the different products and information that you want to feature here. So if I go into the actual text marketing tool, this is obviously the Wi-Fi welcome message. And if I go into edit, this is where you can build it. So again, we have some like pre-written copy here, but of course you can change it to whatever you want. And then down here, we have homepage URL, which is the one that I want to use. And then we have these other merge fields you can use as well. We even have listing URL. So if you have a direct booking site listing, direct book listing, you can also use that as a URL to get people to book again and later text. So lots of cool things you can do with these merge fields. If you want to check, let's say you don't want to use StayFi homepage, you want to send your guidebook. The way to check and ensure that all of your properties have a guidebook associated is if you go to your property here. This is the direct booking listing URL that we used in a text message, and this will be the guidebook URL. So it's just important that if you want to use these merge fields, like sending the guidebook URL or the direct listing URL, that you have it with each property. Obviously, the homepage URL, that's something StayFi controls. So we know the homepage for every property automatically, and the guests will get the right homepage for that property. The next one, which is a great campaign, is the rate and review campaign. So the purpose of this campaign is we want to help you collect feedback from guests. We also want to help you generate more five-star reviews on the non-OTA sites. So you may have a great process to collect five-star reviews from the booker for Airbnb or for Vrbo or for Booking.com, right? But then we have, 7, 8 other guests in the property, and we want to push those people, especially to review you on Google, like your business on Google or on Facebook or on TripAdvisor or your direct booking website. So those are kind of like your 4 options. And the way this works is we screen for five-star reviews. If they give you a five-star review, then we tell them, hey, here's the link to go review us, let's say on Google. If they don't give you a five-star review, then we allow you to collect feedback. So here's kind of the flow. Someone will get this message to review. They hit 5 stars. They'll get sent to where you can list your Google site, your business listing, or to your Facebook page. And then negative feedback gets this form where someone can then leave a text here for you to review later. So the way that works in here is we got the rate and review campaign. First, you decide how many days after a guest connects to Wi-Fi and opt in, do I want to send this feature? So you could, let's say, collect feedback very early, like a day in, or you could wait 3, 5 days, whatever you'd like. So you can wait a little bit of time before you collect a review, and then you customize this web message, basically asking them to review your stay. We will automatically at the end here, if you see the preview, you write the text here, then we will automatically insert here the link to do the review. So you just leave a little colon here, and then this review link will be here automatically. Once the guest clicks that, they will get this page. We will automatically insert the image associated with that property in the back here. So this will kind of change a little bit. And you can say, how was your stay? Rate us from 1 to 5 stars. You then decide what minimum star number you want to then send on to Google, Facebook. Obviously, I recommend 5, like you want to collect 5-star reviews. So if someone does 5, then they see this page where they have the different options to review on these different websites. We give you instructions here on how to get the review link for each of these different things, whether it's TripAdvisor, which I know people use less now, obviously in vacation rentals. Google is definitely the big one. So if you need to have a Google business page, but you can click here to learn how to go get one and make sure you link to the right place. But essentially, this is going to generate 5-star reviews for your overall Google business. And what's great about that is if we go and Google, like a property management company that I know uses this, you will see here their Google reviews here right here. And they use this product. So I can see here they have 1,570 Google reviews, obviously almost all 5 stars. So when someone's going to Google your name, this will appear right on the right side, and we'll be feeding this with 5-star reviews. And not only will this make your brand more trustworthy when someone Googles your brand because they see all these great reviews, Google also likes this for SEO. So your whole business and website will then become featured higher in overall Google search when you're associated with a company with very high levels of 5-star Google reviews. So there's a lot of benefits to driving to Google, which is definitely what people use here the most. So you want to make sure you have a good Google business profile, and then you get the right URL by following these instructions, and it will take them right to review you there. Then finally, if someone gives you a less than a 5-star reviews, it's going to take them here, and then they can provide you text feedback. All of the outcome of this process will be stored here in rating and review. So you can see everyone who did 5 stars, what thing they then clicked. And then for less than 5 stars, you'll see what they wrote and who they were and what property they were in. And you can also export this file. So you can go and look at all the review feedback here in a CSV if you want to share it with other teammates or use it for something else. So all the information is available there. And then the final campaign we have, here's why Google reviews are important. So here's another customer that uses this, Cabins for You. We've really helped them raise their 5-star Google reviews. They have over 8,000. Obviously, they're a very large property manager. And again, here's the process. Verify business on Google. You'll get your Google review URL, and then you'll be able to put that link into StayFi to get more reviews to your brand page. And then finally, how do you get started with all of this? So you'll want to, again, you'll toggle on phone numbers. You'll go in to create your first campaign. So you can set up Wi-Fi welcome, set up rate and review. In this process, we will verify your business, apply for the toll-free number, set up your autoresponder, and then all the text marketing in StayFi is done through credits. So unlike the other tools in StayFi where you're paying a monthly subscription, this is really just based on your usage. You can add more credits. And if you purchase more credits at one time, the per credit price is lower. So you can see, okay, I want to buy 5,000 credits. That's $150. You can do that. And then we have this auto refill tool where essentially, if you go below a certain threshold, you can decide, hey, I want to refill for 5,000 credits, and then we'll automatically bill your credit card when you get below this threshold. So it will keep sending automatically. So you can load with credits and also decide what your auto refill is. For credit pricing, since most people are in the US and Canada, have those phone numbers, it costs 1 credit to text US and Canadian phone numbers. It is more expensive to text phone numbers from other countries. So these are the list of countries that are 2 credits. Most common ones for StayFi users would be UK and Australia, and Mexico, as we have a decent number of customers there. And then any other phone number is 3 credits. So most people are going to be doing 1 credit per text. There might be some people you send to with non-US numbers or non-Canadian numbers, and then credits per text are going to be a little higher. So this is really usage-based. The more text you send, the more it's going to cost, and you can control how much you want to buy at one time, and then whether you want to auto refill or do it yourself. So that's, again, totally up to you. And then the last type of campaign are group text campaigns, and I'll show some examples here. Essentially, this is just a text message that goes out to all of your past subscribers. Right now, we don't have to be honest, to be transparent, we don't really have any segmentation here. So you're just sending it to everybody. In the future, we will have more segmentation. But for now, it's really just sending the text message to as many people as you have opted in. Some great things to text are return offers. So if you have special return offers or last minute availability, that opens up maybe if a cancellation, those are great things to text. If you have upcoming special events or want to kind of experiences that are unique, We saw a lot of people use the text message tool for the eclipse that happened in the US last year, I believe. So they were like, hey, 2 homes left to see the eclipse, things like that. And they were able to get bookings right away. And then obviously just anything else, new properties, like we launched this new property, check it out. We have a great, only 1 home left for the July 4th weekend or for Memorial Day or Labor Day. Fill those last rooms for those peak seasons. Really anything you want, the sky's the limit. And so when you compose these in StayFi, you just go to send group text. You can name the campaign, write the message, include, you want to book the last property you stayed at, you can use listing URL, right? You can also just put the URL for your website and people will go there. So there's a lot of creativity with these merge fields that you can use as well. And then once you send the campaign, you will see all the results here. Sent, delivered, links clicked, unsubscribed. Now, one thing you notice here is that delivered is, 70-ish% of the sent. By using the toll-free numbers, we've really improved this. So that's kind of the pain of going through the 2 to 5 week process to get a toll-free number, is now this is going to be more like 80 or 90% that are sent are delivered. And that's kind of how we've worked to have the highest delivery rate with different mobile carriers. You'll also get the number of links, clicks, and the number of unsubscribes. But this is just fake data here. I'll show you some real examples. So this is one customer called Branson Family Retreats, and they love text messages. They've seen bookings come immediately after sending these, and we'll just go over some examples. So one cool campaign they did is whenever someone booked their property, they included like tickets to a popular attraction near them, which is Silver Dollar City. And so they have these packages on their website. You can see they sent 978, 824 delivered, 64 link clicks. So, much higher click-through rate than you would see from an email. Other things they had is they had new or 2 or 3 bedroom mini homes with hot tubs. They sent that message. They did a promo code, $100 off with text 100. This is great because you can measure the conversion rate of this text message. So you get 3 bookings that use text 100, the ROI from this tool. So promo codes are a great way to measure if anyone's actually going ahead and booking on your website, right? Because they'll obviously only get the code from this text message. Extra late checkout. I know they ran a campaign where people that booked directly got late checkout, while people that booked on OTAs did not. So that's another example of you can give a benefit that's not just a price benefit for booking directly. We got another code here, and then just a, general like, hey, summer dates are now open to book. Something that's also very cool about this customer, I'll just mention, is they actually, whenever they release availability, 9 months, a year from now to actually book, they release on their own website first for a month, and then they release on OTAs for the general public. So one angle of some of their email and text marketing is they let people know, hey, we're only sharing this availability with our audience of repeat bookers. So you get first dibs, and then we'll release it to OTAs. So they're kind of letting people know summer dates are now open, but just for people on their website, not for people going to Vrbo or Airbnb. Capital Jet Set, they also got a ton of clicks and bookings from these campaigns. So again, using promo codes, welcome 15. You can see they use promo codes in these two down here, very effective. And then up here, they were launching a new property. So you can see here they sent 2,000 messages, got 100 clicks. So, 5% click-through rate of people going to their website. And then obviously the new bookings from a number of people that use these codes. And then finally, here's another great example of just more things you can do. You can see some of these are events-based. So they have Copa America Finals in Miami, July 4th festivities in Miami, F1 in Miami, Miami Swims Week. I love these because their text messaging has a consistent theme. And one thing you'll notice with the consistent theme of text messaging is the unsubscribes are very low. So, it's kind of incredible. They sent almost 1,000 messages and they had 0 unsubscribes and 29 clicks. So that's just telling you that by using these kind of high impact events that are very popular for people that travel to Miami, hopefully frequently, and want to stay with them. By kind of keeping up that consistent theme, like we're marketing this type of content, people are clearly engaged. They're not over spamming, and they are getting high click-through rates while keeping unsubscribes very, very low. So these are just more examples of if you have any cool events happening in your location, definitely lean into text marketing as a way to drive people to your website. And then, of course, if you can offer a promo code, that's going to be a great way to measure the conversions and number of bookings you actually get from this channel. So general, kind of like what is the process again? And then I'll go over the questions. So if you haven't already, make sure to open the Q&A section of Zoom and you can go ahead and ask questions because I know we're going to end with plenty of extra time. So first thing to do, make sure you set up text marketing by collecting phone numbers. Then to do the business verification, just start creating like the welcome campaign or rate and review, and we'll walk you through the process of business verification and autoresponder setup. It's going to take 2 to 6 weeks to get verification. If your verification does fail, we will try to help you resubmit it. And you can email support@stayfi.com. It does happen with kind of an annoying level of frequency just because Twilio is very sensitive and they basically, as a business, Twilio doesn't want people using their platforms for sending spam. So they're very protective of their platform. We're protective of our platform by just only using the phone numbers we collect. So everyone in text marketing is just very sensitive that you follow regulation and they're not being used for spam. So it's just kind of some annoying hurdles we have to jump through, but it's totally worth it since you will get high delivery. So 80–90% of the time you will get approved. If you don't get approved, we will help you try to get approved for your toll-free number. Then I would recommend definitely the 2 automated campaigns, the welcome text to greet guests, because that way when they sign up for text marketing, they get one right away. So they know that they've signed up and they will be higher likelihood of engaging in the future. It's also really the best place, in my opinion, to share your homepage. Because if you've invested in your homepage and you've put in links to things like your Bosco store, your Viator affiliate program, this sending typically on the first day is where you're going to get the engagement from guests to go back in here and make these purchases. So definitely consider sending your homepage at that time. And then you can think about, after all guests are getting these 2 messages, then think about once you kind of build up your list, what are enticing things to send to your past guests? So that would be, again, promo codes, last minute availability, exciting events in your area, new properties. It's really endless. But just think mindfully, because obviously you have to pay to send text marketing. It's not free. So you obviously want to send something of value. And also, if you overspam people, they are likely to unsubscribe. So just kind of high value, interesting topics that you want to send to your audience, and you know you're going to get high engagement rate with this form of marketing. Now I'll kind of go over different questions. First question is all about, I have phone numbers from another source. Can I add them in? Unfortunately, no. We, as I mentioned before, we just want to be really careful that we're only allowing you to text people where we have opt-in from those guests. So at this point, we just only trust phone numbers from our own system. In the future, if there's another platform where we know they're collecting opt-in for text marketing, we definitely would be open to integrating it into our text marketing tool. But for now, we just really want to verify that everyone has opted in. Someone is asking about business address. So you're going to want to use a business address that is associated with your property management or hosting business. So whatever business you registered, so like maybe you have like an LLC or a C Corp or whatever it is, or you registered in another country, basically want to use the address for the business that is operating your short-term rentals. If you don't have a business yet, you could try using the short-term rentals address. I'm not sure if they're going to accept that or not, but it's definitely something where like you need some type of business entity, and whatever that business entity's address, that's the one that would be ideal for the situation. Everyone should see the business verification tab. I have a question when they don't see it in text marketing. There definitely should be a business verification tab because even once you're verified, we will include this here. So I would say check it. And if it's not filled out, you can fill it out and submit it. So definitely make sure that you go ahead and do that. Because if you want to send text marketing, we really need to make sure we get this done. Someone's asking they don't see business verification yet. Definitely go to text marketing business verification, and it will either show that it's filled out and it's completed, or um, you'll get like a failure to resubmit, and then you can email support@stayfi.com and they'll help you. So if you have any questions about verification, email support@stayfi.com, especially if you got rejected, and we can help you reapply to get approved. Someone asked if they can change the order of the review bullets, make Google the top option. Personally, I would, if you want to get reviews, I agree that Google is the most important one. I would then just leave only one. I would only put Google. And then if you get enough reviews there, I would just rotate it to a different one. So let's say you go into Google, you get 100 reviews, 5-star reviews. That feels great. Then you kind of want to boost Facebook or TripAdvisor or your own website. I would basically rotate them. I would probably just, if you really want to do Google, I would just only show Google and then add more or other, change it at a future date if you want to try getting some on a different platform. Google is definitely going to be the most impactful of all of them. Someone asked, do I have to have my own website to use this type of marketing? The answer is no. I definitely would have like a brand identity, even if that's yourself. So you could obviously, under here, you could send it from Chase is your name, like your Airbnb host Chase or whatever it is. If you don't have like an actual brand, and all of these messages for welcome and for any message, you can always, of course, send people to book again to your OTA listing. So you can send people, hey, did you love our property? You can book it again here, and then you can always link to your Airbnb listing. Obviously, that's not as ideal as listing your own listing if you have a website, because obviously guests are going to pay the Airbnb fee and all that kind of stuff. But if you're not comfortable taking direct bookings yet, or you just don't have a website, you could either instruct guests to email you or call you or text you to do a direct booking if that's your preferred way, you don't have a website. Or, of course, you can always feature Airbnb for now. So I do see people, for instance, on the homepage, which you might want to send to guests after they log in. When they go in here and they have their book again link, I see people at the beginning have their Airbnb links here. And then once they have a website, they change these links to their own website, right? So for Book Again, you can send them anywhere you want. Obviously, OTA, not as good as your own website, but if that's the best channel for you today, obviously you want to send people there and then change it in the future, which of course you can do. So definitely you don't need a website, you don't need a brand, you can have everything come from your persona as a host. Um, but obviously, we would recommend one day, hopefully, having your own website and the ability to take direct bookings, is obviously that's going to benefit both you and the guest. Those are all the questions I had in the Q&A section. So if anyone has any more, please add them now. I'll just reiterate that this, along with all other webinars, are on our StayFi YouTube channel. So you can go back and review this or any other one that we've done on email marketing, pre-arrival messaging, Wi-Fi setup. It's all here. Oh, someone's asking again about, so Kyle, so you go to text marketing, and then on the right here, you'll see business verification. If you don't see that, please take a screenshot and email support@stayfi.com just to make sure there isn't an issue or a bug or a problem with your account. So definitely do that. Um, just give me 1 second, because maybe I'm just don't know how this works once you get verified. Let me just check, because maybe it does actually go away once you're verified. Yeah, I definitely here, I will just quickly, Kyle, I will look in your account since we have extra time. Let me just find out the name of your account and I'll just open it in a private window and see if I see the tab. Okay, so now I understand. What you need to do, Kyle and Drew, is you hit setup. So under Wi-Fi welcome, text message or rate and review, or send a group text. So click one of those. It's going to basically walk you through the process of setting up your first text message. And in that process, you will submit the business contact info, and then it will appear as a tab. So if you just click Wi-Fi welcome text message, rate and review text message, or group text to send the text to like create the first campaign, it will walk you through the business verification process. So just click one of them. Obviously, you can just set it up and turn it off, but it will walk you through all the process as well as funding your account if you want to, or you don't have to. So um, that should be helpful. That's good for me to know. I don't necessarily love that experience, so we may hopefully change that because I think you should be able to do it outside of creating your first campaign. So that's great feedback. So thanks for sharing that. Yep, that should definitely help you do that. And then you could also set up your first campaign. Yep. So as always, email support@stayfi.com if you have any more questions. Sorry about that last one there. Definitely should know that. And then yes, you can watch any of these on YouTube. And then, of course, you know, please let me know if you have any other feedback about StayFi. Always love hearing from our customers. So you can always reach me at arthur@stayfi.com. Feel free to reach out with questions, ideas. I'd love to hear from you guys. So again, thanks for attending, and then we'll see you in our next session in 2 weeks. Awesome. Thanks, everybody. Have a great rest of your week.